Good evening, all of you, and welcome to this webinar series on mental wellness from Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust. I want to first of all extend a warm welcome to all the attendees and also the resource person for today, Mrs. Akhila C, a renowned life skills trainer, freelance trainer, and also a psychologist. She's also pursuing her doctorate, the PhD program. I'll be introducing her in a while. But before we get started, it's a pride and honor for me to speak a little bit about Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust. So I'll be talking to you about that for a minute and talk about the relevance of this program today and then kickstart the mental wellness talk series from then. All right. So first of all, about Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust. This trust was established in 2016. 3 years we have completed. We have entered the fourth year. And the vision of the trust is to foster rabies elimination and also mental wellness among children. That being the vision, we are also committed to the cause of creating advocacy or awareness among the community members about the ill effects of rabies and how we can eliminate them. In fact, it's a tribute to Dr. Shampur Madhusudana. He's no more, but the work he did and he was involved with for more than 3 decades itself is a testimony to the fact that we have the strength in us to eliminate rabies from this country and even from this planet. Mental wellness has always been a cornerstone of our trust because our managing trustee, Srimati Girija Madhusudana, personally is committed to this particular cause. And we wanted to kind of contribute to the space and see that we can make some difference in this area. Of course, we took our time to get our foothold on the cause. And today, as we are talking, we are kickstarting the mental wellness series. And I think it's a most appropriate time for us to get started because we are all in the midst of this pandemic. And more importantly, that today, more than ever, we need to stay calm and composed. We need to rejuvenate ourselves and we need to connect with people around us and within us so that we can stay strong amidst these waves of adversity and some kind of illusion. So that's the pretext with which we are starting. And we will be having these talks every alternate Wednesday. So this one being the first one, the next one is scheduled on the 29th of July. I will be talking more about it. And a couple of things which I would like to share with you is, if you know, to set the context, May month is known and observed world over as the Mental Health Awareness Month. And that gives the context to this particular thing as a prelude. And more importantly and more relevantly is in the United States, this month, the month of July, is observed as the National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So with all these things, we are kickstarting our own talk series. And I want to thank all the board of trustees, the advisory board members, the well-wishers and the volunteers who have supported us. We've got people who have sent their wishes and guidance and support across the world to make sure that we are on the right path. And I think this is a great opportunity for me to personally thank all of them as a treasurer. As a treasurer of the Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust and a volunteer, I would like to place on record heartful thanks to all of them. And without much ado, I want to get started with today's session. Before we get started, a few housekeeping announcements. Number one, after my introduction and handing over, you can see the resource person on the screen. So you can interact with the resource person, that is Akhila, through your chat and have this interaction going. So keep that in mind. Second, it's a nice thing to remind all of you that you can have a notepad and pen around to make some notes. Try to cut off all the disturbances around you. keep a bottle of water next to you so that you don't have to get up and go. This webinar is going to be for an hour at least, that is 60 minutes. So try to keep it uninterrupted. And last but not the least, in case of a power cut, we will be coming back as soon as possible. So stay logged in. Don't worry about it. We will just come back. There's no need to panic. With these housekeeping announcements, it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce Akhila, who will be delivering the first talk in this mental wellness series, the emotional wellness and stress management during the COVID-19 pandemic. Akhila, more than a resource person, is a good family friend, a well-wisher of the Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust, and also she has been a student of psychology, if I may call, lifelong. In fact, a fact which just testifies that is, as I speak to you, she is pursuing her PhD program in psychology, and she'll be talking more about it as she takes over. But a few highlights from her career, which I would like to refer and read out for all of you for the benefit, is number one, the first thing and which struck to me was her objective. The objective with which she designs and she dedicates herself to the life is to make a difference to people. And she says, my best capabilities should be harnessed to make a sea change in the world around me, and that's her purpose. Her education, as I said, she's pursuing PhD psychology at Christ University, Bangalore. She's an MSc psychology and a BA in psychology with her major in psychology, sociology, and English literature. Her skill sets involve, she's been participating in several symposiums and forums, and she's participated in a business psychology in action, a global summit organized by the Christ University Consulting Group in 2016. She's also participated in a 2-day workshop on transactional analysis fundamentals conducted at Christ University. She's developed a wellness module for level 1 employees towards increasing productivity. Her achievements include authored several chapters, presented papers, and facilitated workshops. So she's been there and done that, and it's an honor for us to have her here to speak to all of us and to take us through this critical and careful subject of mental wellness. She's also been a volunteer, a lifelong volunteer. In fact, even she's a volunteer at our trust itself, but she's also been associated with Foundation for Excellence, Youth for Parivartan, and volunteering with Greenpeace India. Other interests of Akhila include Carnatic music, cooking, and blogging. More importantly, Akhila, as I said, is a very good family friend, and she has been involved personally with us in supporting our educational initiatives. And I run a few schools and institutions. She's been kind enough to be on our panel to guide the children with career counseling, with general counseling, and also with supporting them with psychological counseling. So with this, I would like to request and welcome Akhila on the forum, and over to you, Akhila, from now on, and you can set your ground rules and you can take it forward. And I am eager to listen to you and learn from this session. Akhila, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Chandrasekhar, I'm able to hear you.
Okay, I'm going to stop my screen sharing and stop my video so that you can be there and talk to the audience, right?
Sure, thank you.
All right, I think you can now get on your video.
Right.
Is it?
Chandrasekhar sir, I'm unable to share my screen.
One second.
Sure.
So yeah, you are the co-host now. I think now you can do it.
Yes, I'm able to. Thank you.
Technology, we are all trying to learn as we go. Yeah. All right, so there we go. You can see all the audience. Audience can see you and I can see you. So I'm sure it's all set now.
Right.
So we can get started. Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening to all of you. I hope all of you, your friends and family are staying safe and doing good amidst the uncertainty, anxiety, fear, and fright. I'm here to talk to you about emotional wellness and stress management during COVID-19 pandemic. So let us begin this session by trying to differentiate between what is health and what is wellness. If you all have observed it and noticed it, there's a paradigm shift from health to wellness over the past 10, 15 years, especially from, I think, the 21st century. We all would be more concerned about our health, mostly our physical health. But then it also got stretched into the mental health and then into the social health as well. But later on, it is more about wellness. So today, if you look at the corporate, they are more concerned about the wellness of their employees. If you look at the educational institutions, they are concerned about the wellness of the students as well as the educators. If you look at the healthcare setting, then they are concerned about the wellness of the patients as well as the healthcare workers, and the list goes on. So wellness is mostly used as a term in all the walks of life. So what could be the change from health as a concept to wellness as a concept? So if you look at World Health Organization's definition of health, it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just merely the absence of disease. So this is a problem exactly with defining health. It mostly looks at illness and then treating that. It could be physical, mental, or social illness. But if you look at wellness, it is a model that has been used to bring awareness about the interconnectedness between the physical, mental, and the social aspects of health. So it is right to say that health is inclusive of wellness. And if you look at the quote at the end of this slide, an empty tank will take you exactly nowhere. So take time to refuel it. That is exactly what wellness as a concept tries to tell you. Wellness has got to do with the practical aspects of life and not health. Hence, health is mostly redundant nowadays, and thus the concept of wellness. But a lot of people have, to its disadvantage, used wellness to talk about just yoga or exercise or nutrition as inclusive of wellness and not looking at it as a holistic model. So that is the problem. However, the advantage of using wellness is mostly what we are looking at today. So what is emotional wellness? If you are able to have awareness about what emotions you are really going through, whether you're sad or you're happy or you're anxious or you have fear about something, these are little things that you should be aware about and respect it as and how you feel it, and also accept it because it's a part of you. Especially during a crisis like COVID-19, when most of us are going through mostly negative emotions, it's always important for us to be aware of why we are going through. The situation demands us to be like this. And respect what you're going through because that's a part of you. If it wasn't COVID-19 and you were going through negative emotions, then the scenario would be completely different. But now that the situation demands you to be like that, it is completely okay for you to feel that way and accept that it is a part of you. It will also help in identifying not just COVID-19 as one of its causes, but also maybe the insecurities that you're facing. It could be related to your workplace. It could be related to your family's security, future aspects. It could also be related to your personal developmental plans that you had, the goals that you had already incited about. So these are basically the ones that you will identify as the causes for whatever emotions you're going through. And you will try to build up a rationale about it so that you are able to work it out in the manner of your personal strengths. For instance, if patience is one of your strengths, then you will look at COVID-19 as a scenario which is not going to be there permanently, but just that maybe a vaccine has to come in, and then this situation is going to get better. So that way your patience is going to help you throughout this waiting period. um, Emotional wellness is a state of your mind and body, so both of it work in unison. Thus it allows you power to analyze what you're going through. That way you're going to be more rational. um, it is also going to help you explain it to your friends and family that this is just one state of your one stage of your lifetime where you're going through this difficulty, and you will be able to sail through it safely. So it will also help you accept not just you, but the people around you as well, and also express yourself without any constraints, which is more important in the case of emotional wellness. Because if you have fear or anxiety or insecurity, then you may not be able to express yourself. But if you are able to express yourself without any constraint, it means that you're feeling more comfortable and you have become more accepting about the whole scenario. So what are really the strands of emotional wellness? First is stress management. As I have already told you, there are multiple kinds of stress that we are going through. It may be with respect to our personal life, our professional life, about people whom we know, about our relatives, our friends, or colleagues. They may be going through um, worse situations. We may be feeling better, so that is also a way of feeling better. So the more you compare with somebody who is below you on the ladder, the more better you will feel. So stress management technique is that as well. And then sleep. I'm sure most of you could not sleep properly during the first phase of lockdown, simply because you were more worried about what might happen next. For how long will this lockdown be? How many cases are increasing every day? Is it just arithmetically increasing? Is it multiplying? How are we going to face this? So you had these many questions, and then you weren't able to sleep. But during the second phase of lockdown, I think you were better, because you were quite accustomed to the fact that this is going to continue for a little longer. There's no vaccine in place, and so yeah, this kind of helped you cross that phase better. And then we saw lift in the lockdown, where we tried to function normally, but then we were constantly reminded of the new normal. Hence, work from home was again there. And then additionally, we had a lot of household chores. There were so many problems that our friends or families, family members or colleagues faced, and we somehow got to know about it. We either empathized with them or tried to help them. All this happened. So you were able to sleep better because you knew that this was something that is going to be there for the continued period of time, and you kind of came to terms with COVID-19. So sleep has been definitely changing through this phase of 4 months. Unfortunately, Bangalore is again on a lockdown since yesterday, 8 p.m. And for us now, this is a new normal. So we are able to sail through this better now. And then relationships, as I've been telling you, it could be the relationship with our close family members, or colleagues, or distant family members. So constantly staying in touch with them also helps us feel better. So communication is something that is very important. You either communicate or you wait for somebody to communicate with you, so that you understand that they are feeling okay. What does this collectively lead to? Our mental health. So mental health is the focus of emotional wellness. However, emotional wellness has got to do both with our body and mind. As I told you earlier, it works in unison. What happens when there's imbalance of strands? Can I have you all interact with me on the chat? What does imbalance of strands lead to?
You can use the chat window to put in your questions or comments.
As I told you, the strands of emotional wellness.
Ramesh Putana has.
Yes, stress. Yeah. Exactly, Mr. Ramesh. It is stress. So what does stress result in? Let me try to rephrase. How is stress going to impact you? Okay. Emotional, physical. Yes, unable to complete any work. Uncertainty, right. Yes. Thank you for your responses. As you all are absolutely right, it has got to do with our emotions. So it could be anger, in terms of feeling frustrated and irritated. It could be helplessness. It could be physical breakouts. It could be emotional breakouts, temperamental, very nice. Wonderful. Yes, inconsistent behavior. Sometimes you feel like you want to empathize with your friends and family. Sometimes you feel like nobody cares about what I'm going through, so let me also not care about anybody. Yes. Right. Thank you for your responses. Okay, so if you look at this, I'm sure all of you would have watched this time and again on news channels and also on social media pages. So this is how coronavirus, COVID-19 basically, virus looks like. So coronavirus is a group of virus which can range from mild to moderate to severe to fatal viruses. So one of those in the group of coronavirus is COVID-19. So mostly coronaviruses cause respiratory tract infections, and thus mostly people die because of breathlessness. So that's a respiratory tract infection. Why are we advised to wear a mask and use gloves? Because the droplets from our saliva or what you call as the phlegm, if it falls in the form of droplets on any surface, or when you sneeze or cough, that droplet falls on or any surface, and any individual comes in contact with that, then the virus can simply spread infection. So by wearing a mask, you ensure that you are not passing down the infection to anybody. Also, by wearing gloves, you are protecting yourself from any possible infection. So you use sanitizers mostly or hand washes sanitizers cannot kill the virus. It is just going to be a temporary solution. If you are able to use a hand wash frequently, then the detergent in the hand wash has the ability to kill the virus. Hence, washing of hands is advised. And maintaining social distance also ensures that in case a person who's, say, close to you has already got the virus in him or her, then it prevents you from catching that infection. So that is the reason why social distancing, wearing a mask, using gloves, washing your hands is emphasized over anything else, right? So prevention is always better than cure. We've been hearing to this time and again. Instead of coming in contact with the virus and then trying to cure ourselves from it, it's always better to prevent ourselves from any infection. Hence, we are all advised to either stay at home, go out only to buy essentials, or to wear a mask, gloves, and use sanitizers so that we can prevent ourselves from getting infected. Um, when the virus broke out, it was showing symptoms such as fever, constantly the temperature running for a few days, and then cough and cold. But then now there are also asymptomatic patients. Hence, it is advisable to follow the instructions as given by the World Health Organization, that is strictly followed by the Indian government as well in all the procedures that they are bringing out. So this is it with coronavirus. Why is it called a pandemic? Because if you know, the source of coronavirus COVID-19 is from China. So from China, it has spread to over 222 countries, hence making it a pandemic. So it's a communicable disease, and that is why all of us need to worry so much about it. So this is a cause of our stress right now. For the last 4 months, COVID-19 has been our stressor. So what are some of the emotions that we can associate with COVID-19? You could feel angry and you show that anger, rather you displace that anger on your family members, on your colleagues, on your friends, sometimes even on pets, and this has been the case. There's a lot of confusion about how virus spreads, especially because it used to be symptomatic and now it is asymptomatic. So there are a lot of news causing worry as well. Hence, people who are hooked onto television channels are mostly confused about what to follow and what not to follow. And you're very exhausted physically and psychologically because you don't know when this is going to end. You are not able to function normally. You're furious at possibly the virus or possibly at your boss. Mostly, I think the working population can agree with that. Mostly your working hours have been increasing. Your travel time though has come to zero. Your expectations from your employer has increased. So it's making you furious. And then you have, many of us have become oversensitive. In case we sneeze, we feel like, okay, maybe we have come in contact with the coronavirus. In case we hear somebody coughing, then we feel like, okay, we are in danger. So this is how sensitive we have become. I mostly can attribute oversensitivity to the media coverage, because they have been making us quite sensitive and not sensible. So that is a problem. Most of us are sad because we are not able to function normally. Otherwise, we would be happily, visiting public places. A lot of us are not able to go to our workplace, visit our friends. Celebrations would have been there, which we have missed. Going to the religious places, celebrating festivals together. All of this has been zero since the last 4 months. So that has made us sad. A lot of us are panicky because we don't know how we might come in contact with the virus, though we take a lot of precautions. So we just panic about what might happen. We are also tired and exhausted, as I've already told you. And there are recurrent thoughts. Even in our dreams, we feel like we might have contacted coronavirus. So that's how we have kind of conditioned ourselves. We are quite worried about what might happen to our friends or family members. So yeah, these are some of the emotions, and I'm sure most of you are, will be able to relate to this. So these pictures quite sum up about the stress associated with COVID-19. It could be in terms of your emotional burden, your physical burden, or your social burden. So I'm sure all of you are able to relate to this. So as you have already given me your responses on the chat box, the signs of stress can be summed up into these 4 categories: the bodily stressors, the emotive stressors, the behavioral stressors, and the psychological stressors. So I think bodily stressors have been there with us for a lot of this period. Especially I had the skin irritation very recently, because I kind of had developed an OCD towards using hand sanitizers and hand washes frequently, because I kept using, the restroom, or I would take out vegetables from the refrigerator, or I would go out and use the lift and come back. So I would be constantly using sanitizers and hand washes. So that gave me a weird patch on my hand, and I had to consult a dermatologist and finally take some medications to get myself cured. Though it is still not cured completely, I am a little better today. So I can just give you an example for how washing my hand became an OCD and finally turned into a stressor. So I think most of you will be able to relate to one of these. So these are some of the very prominent stressors. Emotionally, I think most of us have been alienated at one point of time or another. We are very irritated, and we try to displace that irritation on somebody or something. Especially, I think the homemakers or the working mothers had a lot, uh, in their daily share of routine, because the maids were asked not to come. I think they had their own share of household chores, plus the office tasks, plus looking after children, and also taking care of all the safety measures at home. So I think it was too much, especially during the first phase of lockdown. Later, I think we have all come in terms with what needs to be done, and we are able to do a pretty good job. But I think when we hear the word lockdown, we try to associate it with fear and anxiety and uncertainty. So that's how it has turned out to be. There's a question. Okay, how do we develop patience to stay away from public places, outside food, loved ones, until times get better? This is a very nice question. I think you will be able to find out the answer through due course of time. In case you're not answered, or this doesn't justify, then maybe you can bring around the question again. Achieving emotional wellness. This is my favorite part of the session, and I chose this particular picture on purpose. If you look at yourself today, then your mind is full of so many thoughts. It could be rational, it could be irrational, but they do exist, and that's the truth. But how do we become mindful of the situation is the question in hand. So it is quite obvious for all of us to have a mind full of thoughts and ideas, because the situation is quite uncertain and it demands you to be so. But how to be mindful is a question. First is with respect to the emotions. As I've already told you, since emotional wellness is all about trying to identify and come in terms with your emotions, be aware of what you're going through, and it is perfectly fine. Today you might be very angry, tomorrow you may be very peaceful and calm, day after tomorrow you may be anxious, and then the day after you could have fear in you. All that is quite common because the situation is so. So please come to terms with what the situation is like, and accept. That is the only way out for us right now. So accept it, because all of us have been following all the rules and regulations. The norms are in place, and we have quite got accustomed to it. So for now, accepting it is the first available option. And then our worry is always about relationships. The social connections for now are mostly virtual in nature. You have Zoom calls or video calls with your family members, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your employers, with everybody. So virtual meetups are the thing of today. That is the way your relationships are sustaining. So if you're able to talk to people and still have connections with them, that's a wonderful thing, because a lot of them have lost connections. So if you're able to maintain relationships and try to share what you're going through comfortably with those social connections you have established, it's a wonderful way of achieving emotional wellness. The more open you are, the better you will feel, because if you keep bottling up everything, and one day if you're not able to vent out, it will burst out by itself. Better than things bursting out is you trying to sort it out with the social connections. It could be your spouse, it could be your children, it could be your pet, it could be your close relatives or close friends, whomever it is. It could be different people in your case. So try to talk to them about how you feel about what you have been doing all this time, and how you want to live your life, at least till the situation gets better. How is your new normal like? What are you doing in your routine? So try to share all of this. That will make you feel better. Work-life balance. This is especially with reference to all the working population. Most of us feel like work has got a large chunk of our time each day and not our personal life, which should not happen, especially because this whole phase of lockdown or the pandemic has seen a lot of increase in the cases of familial issues, especially with relation to a husband and wife, because the wife keeps complaining that the husband is mostly in front of the laptop, not able to give enough time to the wife or to the children or look after the household responsibilities. So it is always advisable to prioritize equally, both to your work life as well as to your personal life, so that you strike a balance, and that is also going to make you feel better. Because imagine from 9 in the morning to 5 in the evening, you're in front of the laptop. You would have experienced few occasions of restlessness with your employer or with your colleague. Sharing that with your spouse will also make your spouse feel better, because it's like, imagine your wife is working in the house on all the responsibilities. She's doing the cleaning because the maid is not there. She's looking after the children because they are at home, and the children also have online classes, so she has to stay with them, and alongside she has to cook. all of that responsibility, she's doing so much of physical and mental labor. So it's always nice that you sit with your wife, respect her for what she's doing, so that you are able to strike a balance. Lifestyle is a very important thing. Just because you are asked not to go out of the house, that doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise. A 30-minute exercise every day is what experts recommend, because it will give you enough energy for the whole day, and it is also going to rejuvenate your mind and help you be more prepared for the whole day's tasks that are lined up. So a lifestyle that has a mixture of good sleep, good exercise, good nutritious diet, and your task is going to help you stay emotionally fit. Goals. These are some things that are very important. All of us have goals in life. We might have had our 5-year plans, our 3-year plans, our 1-year plans. We feel like those plans should be halted for now because we don't know what is coming up next. But please do not halt anything, because the time is not going to stay there for you and give you enough chances. Your goal should remain wherever it was, but mostly you may have to be working a little hard towards getting there. So that should always be your focus. Whatever resources you think are necessary, try to line up all of them, so that once at least we are back to normal and the situation gets better, then your path towards sailing to the goal becomes more easy. First aid is always going to be self-care, and self-care is extremely important. Most of us were used to being very mechanical. We would go to office, come back, have meals and sleep. For a lot of us, our homes were like PGs. We would just come, eat, sleep, next day get up, get ready, go to work, and then come back. The same thing would just repeat like a cyclic wheel. But I think this lockdown period has been a great learning lesson for all of us in terms of self-care. It's important for us to exercise in terms of virtues, as what we call in positive psychology. Try to express gratitude, express forgiveness. All of these are extremely important, because after all, we are human beings. So show your gratitude to your wife because she's doing so much for your family. Show your gratitude to your husband because despite lockdown and so much of uncertainty with respect to the job, he's still able to care in the same manner to the family. Respect the security guards, respect the police, respect the healthcare workers, respect everybody. Show your gratitude in whatever small ways you can. Also express the virtue of forgiveness. That is very important for all of us, because it's human to err. So as and when we are able to forget, we are able to sail smoothly forward. So try to use self-care as first aid, because that is going to make a lot of difference to you personally as well. Because once this phase gets over, we are back to the same life as what we were before COVID-19. The things will definitely change. So if we have to adapt to the new change, then bringing changes in ourselves with respect to self-care is very important. And self-care is not just about what we do to others, but what we do to ourselves in terms of eating on time, sleeping for a required number of hours. Most of us, because we are involved in a lot many tasks, we don't eat properly. Even if we do eat, then today we have our lunch at 2 p.m., tomorrow at 4 p.m., day after at 1 p.m. This is not absolutely going to help you in any way. because if the metabolic rate of your body keeps changing, then it is not going to do any good to you. Also exercise, because exercise is not just going to keep you physically fit, it is also going to keep you emotionally fit. It keeps your mind rejuvenated as well. So these are some of the self-care characteristics that are quite important in achieving emotional wellness. Management of stress. So how is it going to be? As I've already told you, self-care. Social connections are very important. Kindly share what you're going through, and also be an active listener to somebody else's problem. It could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be your children. They also have their own share of problems. Kindly listen to them and make them feel better. That is also one of the ways you can care for yourself and also to your family members. Workload planning is something that is of great importance, because the 24-hour cycle does not change. However, trying to prioritize what needs to be done first, what needs to be done next, has to be there in place so that you are able to work efficiently. So prioritize so that there's no much of a workload causing you to burn out at the end of the day. Always remember to start your day with exercising so that it keeps you going for the rest of the day. If possible, take a nap in the afternoon, if not every day, at least on the alternate days, because that is going to give you more energy and more efficiency. Imagine you have a lot of things lined up for the whole day, but you don't have energy for all of that. It is going to make you less efficient. So if you want to be more efficient, then kindly try to push some exercise into your routine, and also have a good night's sleep. Make sure there's flexibility in your routine. If you're not able to do something today, then you should be okay with it. Try to be flexible with yourself. If you are not able to say wash your clothes today, then tomorrow you should be able to wash clothes of 2 days. So that's how flexibility works. And also in case of trying to push things out of your schedule, you should be able to flexible. If you had scheduled a meeting in the evening and due to some technological issue it could not happen, then it should be okay if it happens tomorrow. Don't keep procrastinating things so that you will suffer towards the end of it. So try to be flexible. Know when to seek professional help. Most of us forget this. That's why I have chosen a different color to emphasize on this. If you're going through a certain stress for more than 3 weeks of time, kindly seek professional help, because if you are unable to help yourself, then it's always nice to ask some professional to help you. I don't say go to a psychologist directly. There are so many helpline numbers. Even if you talk to them, you may be able to sort out some of your issues. So kindly seek professional help whenever it is necessary. So I will try doing a stress out technique with you all. I will stop my video to avoid distraction. Can I request all of you to sit comfortably wherever you are? It could be on the floor if you're comfortable, or on the chair. If you want to lean your back, that's absolutely fine. You can choose to close your eyes or keep it open if you're okay with it. You can choose to close your eyes, or you can keep your eyes open if you're able to concentrate and attend to what I'm saying. Seat yourself comfortably. Breathe in. Breathe out. Repeat this for a couple of times. Relax. Now breathe in to the count of 2 and exhale to the count of 8. Repeat this for a couple of times. Relax. Kindly place one hand on your belly just below your ribs and the other hand on your chest. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Breathe out as if you are whistling with your pursed lips. Take a deep breath again through your nose. Let your belly push out your hand. Breathe out through pursed lips as if you are whistling. Repeat this again. While you breathe in, say this in your mind. I breathe in peace and calm. Inhale. Hold your breath for 2 seconds. Exhale and say, I breathe out stress and tension. Inhale. I breathe in peace and calm. Hold your breath. Exhale. I breathe out stress and tension. Relax your hands. Breathe in to the count of 4. Hold the breath for 2 seconds. Breathe out to the count of 8. By the time you count 8 next time, exhale with a flat abdomen. Let's try that again. Breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold the breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out to the count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's repeat. Breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out to the count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Relax. Can I get some comments about this breathing exercise on the chat box? How are you feeling? Better? Is it the same? Feeling fresh, soothing, peaceful, good, great. Refreshing, wonderful. So I have tried to combine 3 of the breathing exercises in the last 5 minutes. First, we started with what is called as focused exhale, where you try to breathe in to the count of 2 and exhale to the count of 8. So because you have to exhale for a few more counts, it will help you in gaining attention and also in concentrating towards your breath. So that was focused exhale. And then we did belly breathing, where you try to place your hand on your belly and then focus on how you're pushing your belly in and out. So that was the belly breathing exercise. And then the last one we did just now was a brain massage technique, which allowed you to breathe in, hold your breath, and then breathe out for 8 seconds. So these 3 exercises are just snippets from what stress management techniques are, but there are a lot many techniques. I just limited them to the breathing techniques because these work wonders with all kinds of people. It could be children, it could be the elderly, or it could be the middle-aged. For everybody, these techniques work quite amazingly. So I chose to do these exercises with you all. So what are signs of emotional wellness? I think it's the right time for us to discuss about this, because we have been able to talk about stress and how to manage stress, and we've also worked out a few stressing out breathing exercise techniques. So one major sign of emotional wellness, as I told you earlier, is when you're able to share your emotions and also concerns related to your emotions with others. You could be feeling low, but sharing it with somebody will help you feel better. Because when you share, you just don't say that I'm feeling low, but you will say, hey, I am feeling insecure about my job. I don't know if we will be able to save any more money, because with all the savings we are leading our lives today. So I'm a little worried and I feel helpless. I don't know if we will be paid half our salaries for the, till the end of this year. So I don't know if we will have enough money left for our children's fees for the next academic year. So when you're able to reason it out, reason every emotion out to others, you will be able to feel much better. So this is one sign of emotional wellness. Second thing is to feel guilt free in saying no. When say your family wants you to make an expenditure which is unnecessary at the moment, feel free to say no, because as a responsible family member, you know when it is essential for the family to have it, and maybe the time today is not the right one. So it is always nice to say no with any guilt. I will take the questions in a bit. I will just finish this. Feeling content in everything around. This could be with respect to how your house is functioning, how your work life is, how the things around you are. So feeling content is mostly in terms of expectations. Do not have too many expectations at this time, because you never know if it is going to work out anytime soon. So try to be satisfied with how things are working around you. That will also help you prevent yourself from all the negativity and unpleasantness that you might simply be welcoming. So try to feel content with everything that is around you. Feel relaxed as and when you think it is necessary for you to. It could be in the middle of your work hours of 9 to 5. If you feel like you want to take a break, kindly take a break and do something that will help you relax. And this is the best time for most of the people to harness their skills in the hobbies they would have developed. There are so many people who are coming up with nice art pieces. There are so many people who are singing and uploading the videos on social media. There are people who are showing their skills in different other ways that might help you relax, or exercises can help you relax, or maybe if you have some household chore waiting for you, and at the moment if you think finishing that chore is going to help you relax, go ahead and do it. So it could be in any way. It is completely subjective. What works with me may not work with you. So whatever keeps you relaxed, please indulge in it. Who am I? Um, it's always important for me to feel good about who I am, rather than focusing on what are my faults or mistakes, or why I am not efficient. It is always good to look at the better picture. Try to stand in front of the mirror and look at who you are. Try to go down the memory lane, thinking about what were the difficulties you faced, what were some of the instances that happened in your life that gave your life an unexpected turn, and then look at who you are today. That is going to make you feel better. It will also help you towards concentrating on your goals. So always look at the better picture of yours, and not at the bad version of who you were. So look at who I am picture rather than who I was picture. Limit your worry and agitation as much as possible. Do not sit in front of the television channel following the news of how many deaths have happened today, how many positive cases have been detected, what is the government doing, whether there's any positive case in your neighborhood. Of course, that is quite important to you to stay safe, but kindly limit your worries. There's no use in being agitated. It will only cause more trauma to you, both physically and psychologically. The more worried and agitated you are, it will reflect on your physical ability. So try to limit worries and agitations as much as possible. If you think your friend or your colleague is trying to give you a report on what is happening, just try to divert that conversation to something else, so that you don't get to listen to something that is unpleasant for you. Um, this is a very nice quote that somebody had forwarded to me yesterday, and I thought I should share it with you. This is by Steve Margoli, who's an author and a motivational speaker. So he says, I promise you nothing is as chaotic as it seems. Nothing is worth diminishing your health. Nothing is worth poisoning yourself into stress, anxiety, and fear. So it is all in the way we think, in the way we behave. Um, Let us try to change from what we did till now on, so that we are able to handle stress better. And I'm sure all of us will be able to sail through this successfully. So stay safe and stay healthy. With this, we come to the end of this presentation, and now I will look at some of the questions that are there. You can also post your questions to me now if you have any. If you'd like to give me your opinion or comments, you can do that as well. There's one question here: how to deal with a rude child? Please remember that naming your child as a rude child is not the solution to the problem. Your child may be rude because you are not giving enough attention to the child, or the child is feeling very restless. Of course, there are now online classes that have become the new norm. So the child may be worried that there's a lot of work pressure despite online classes. There may be assignments and all that going on. There are even competitions now that are happening online. So the child may be going through a lot. So try to talk to the child about what is the problem. It could be something that is very subjective to the child, or it could be something, uh, the possibility could be the parent as well, or the neighboring environment in which the child is living. So try to talk to the child and sort the issue. Be very patient, especially with handling children, because to children, this is something that is very new. For us, at least, it is comprehensible, but to children, it is not. They do not know the intensity of the virus. They do not know what it might cause. Especially in Indian society, we do not educate children enough about um, the consequences of something. So I think there lies a problem. Please try to educate the child about what is the problem, why everybody is so worried about what is happening at the outset, and try to talk to the child. I'm sure that is going to um, help the situation in a better way. There's another question. Okay. In case you have something personal that you're unable to share here, I will drop my email ID in the chat box. You can feel free to drop an email at any point, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. So mostly this session was a generic one, catering to the demands of all sets of people, from children to the adults. So this was a very generic one. In case you have something specific, please let me know about it, and I'll be more than happy to engage in a personal conversation with you. I have dropped my email ID. I think it's not visible.
Akhila, you have to put it to all the audience.
Yeah, I'm doing that, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was not what I was supposed to do. Can you type it at the audience, please? Yeah.
I hope everybody is able to see now.
Yes. Akhila, can you answer the other question a little more explicitly? That is, how do we develop patience to stay away from public places?
I think I've already answered that question, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. You carry on.
Is there anything else that I can help any of you with, your participants? Okay, I have an interesting one here. We are trying to beat the current COVID pandemic stress by listening to music, watching comedy shows, attending online satsangs, and studying good books. That's a wonderful idea. As I've already told you, there are different ways that each of us adopt into our lives. Maybe if you look at the younger generations, then they are into books, music, and Netflix, or social media. And then the elderly ones either go to the spiritual side of spiritual aspect of life, mostly into satsangs and chanting bhajans or hymns and reading spiritual books. There are many who have resorted to therapy, especially pet therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, all of that. So, as I said, there's nothing right or wrong about it. Each of us have different kind of methods or techniques to help ourselves relax. It is definitely very subjective. What I do may not necessarily be what you do. So that way, I think, yes, COVID has helped us actualize our potential to the maximum. And wellness is also about that. If you look at how wellness as a concept came about, it is mostly borrowing a lot of things from positive psychology and also from emotional intelligence, both of which are, towards being agile in our lives. So COVID has, in fact, been a practical way for all of us to practice agility. So yes, I think that was a wonderful comment. Chandrasekhar sir, it looks like
Yeah.
this is the end of it.
Okay. So I think, yeah, so we have had some questions and all of them have been answered. Thank you very much, Akhila, for taking your time and actually giving us all these insights.
My
I
pleasure.
really appreciate your time on behalf of Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust, as well as on my personal behalf. I think you have raised curtains on a lot of sensitive issues. Of course, some of these are known to us. We have heard, we have read about it in the newspapers or heard from people talking, or we have listened to some of other lectures. But what is interesting is, you know, every time we visit these concepts, we kind of learn a new thing. We try to reflect on our own life and see, are we able to put it into practice? Knowing is one thing, but doing is the totally another thing. So I think this session has been a trigger for all of us to go back and reflect as to how we can apply the things which we have learned and listened into our real life. Because as you rightly said, this pandemic is far from over. It is not going to end anytime soon, and we have started to learn to live with it. When we are learning, it's important to learn the right way so that we are able to come out of it in a more successful, in a more stronger, in a more enriched way. So thank you very much for spending this time. I will request you to stop the sharing of the slide so that I can put back the slide and conclude the session.
Right.
Just give me two minutes. Huh? Okay. So with this, I want to thank all the audience, the attendees for your time on this Wednesday evening, spending time with us. And I'm sure, as I've been reading in the chat window, emotional wellness and stress management during COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, I want to thank Akhila on behalf of all of you attendees, as well as the trust that she has not only started off the mental wellness talk series, but she has also created a good foundation for us to take it forward, and we are extremely delighted. I think it is also pertinent for me to announce that Akhila has agreed to be a volunteer, and more than a volunteer, a coordinator kind of a role where she will be steering this thing. So going forward in all the mental wellness talks, she will be taking the role of coordinating, moderating, and also connecting with the audience. So thank you, Akhila, once again for taking the time and also joining and supporting the trust.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Okay. Before we conclude, I have a couple of things to be shared with you. Number one, as I started off, is the vision of Dr. Shampur Madhusudana Trust to create a rabies-free society and to develop sustainable solutions for mental wellness of children. So going forward, we'll be having a lot of sessions on this, and that's the best we can do under these circumstances, but we'll be at it. And then a little bit for you, all of you, the trust is named after this legendary scientist and a medical professional, Dr. Shampur Madhusudana. More details about him and all his accolades and achievements and research is available on our website. I would strongly request you to visit the website. In addition to details about him and our vision and mission, we also very regularly update all the activities. Here you can see one of the activity which was as recent as the first week of June, and we did in 30th May, that is first week of June actually, where we did this program of distributing ration kits to the needy, the migrant workers and villagers during the COVID pandemic. We also have done a lot of other awareness programs, like you see one on the 10th February, the rabies awareness drive in our school, Padmanab Nagar, and a lot of other things. So all these events and activities, you can see it. These are updated regularly on our website, either fightrabies.org or sumadu.org, both of them. Very recently, our managing trustee was even awarded at a women conference for Women in Social Awareness Award. So we are extremely happy about it. And coming to you on the 29th of July, as I said, this is the series of talks, and the next talk is scheduled on the 29th of July, and the topic is parenting during pandemic. This is focused on parents. I think I saw some of the questions which were asked on how to deal with children. I think more will be dealt in a greater depth in the coming session, addressing the socio-emotional needs of children. So we strongly recommend you to attend this along with your friends and other family members. And I personally feel both husband and wife should attend this session because there will be a lot of learning to take away and implement in their families. So please spread the word. We will be sharing the registration link soon for all of you attendees, as well as on the WhatsApp, so that you can share it among your friends and families. It is presented to us by Dr. Srihari Ravindranath. He is a life skills expert and he belongs to Dream a Dream Initiative. It's on 29th of July 2020, Wednesday, and you can mark it every alternate Wednesday at 8 p.m. We have these sessions lined up, so you can kind of dedicate every Wednesday 8 p.m., alternate Wednesdays 8 p.m. for the Sumadu, that is the Shampur Madhusudana Trust's mental wellness talks. With this, we want to thank you once again for your time, your patience, and your participation. I want to congratulate all of you, all the audience for participating. And once again, thank you for helping us put these baby steps as we start walking towards making a solid contribution in this space. Thank you and good night. Stay safe and take care.